Hey, what is going on you guys? It's Epic here and welcome back to another episode of Borderlands Breaking News. Guys, before we get into today's video, I hate to be a pain, but please leave a like on the video and sub to the channel if you want to stay up to date with all Borderlands Breaking News. It absolutely helps out and I appreciate it very much. Let's not keep you waiting here, no need to drag this out. You're all here for the thumbnail and that's what we're going to talk about. So yesterday, the Siege X test servers did go live for Rainbow Six Siege X, and a lot of people got to get in on the game, and if you checked our latest video regarding the potential Borderlands and Siege X collab, you'll know that this was something which was rumored to be happening. Now, big shout out to the people on that video who mentioned that this was not a scrapped collab and that it was indeed happening regardless, because you would be confirmed here. There are images coming out from the Siege X test server showing off the new Borderlands collab. Now, I could be getting the names wrong, so I'm really sorry here, but we're going to start off with Mozzie, who is the Psycho, or at least I hope this is Mozzie, who is the Psycho for the collab. And we can see here that it is not just a headgear, this is a full-on, what I would assume is an elite skin or some kind of bundle for the character, and they are in the full Psycho getup, complete with the lines, the art style of Borderlands. Now, one thing that's important to note here is it does look like this is a Borderlands 3 design and not a Borderlands 4 design, and the reason for that is pretty simple. This is most likely a collab that was supposed to happen a long time ago, but it's not going to be happening until around now, and so it's a little dated in the design, but that is totally fine and it still looks really good regardless. Now, I want to give a shout out to Dockerby Official on Instagram. That is the source I could find for these. If that is not the original source, I do apologize, but that is who I was able to find as the source for these images. But nonetheless, it looks very cool. I think the Psycho looks really neat and a lot of people will be running it. The skin, which I think will be a little less popular, is the skin for IQ, which is none other than the iconic Siren Lilith. And we can get a shot of her right now, and once again, this is the BL3 design of Lilith, or at least I would assume. We still haven't seen her in Borderlands 4, but this is pretty one-to-one for the BL3 design of Lilith with the Crimson Raiders. And this one, I would say, looks a little more traditional Siege art style, more so than Borderlands art style, but I think nonetheless it still looks very nice. But I think there's just better skins in Siege that people are probably going to use over this one. But if you're a Borderlands fan and you're an IQ main in Siege, you may want to use the Lilith skin. Now, on the subject of Lilith, there is also going to be a weapon skin themed around the Firehawk, and we can get a look at that right now. It's a little minuscule to what you would expect, but there is fire on the bottom for obviously the Firehawk, followed by her Phoenix from Borderlands 3, and there is also siren tattoos on the gun as well, which is pretty damn neat. And in this image here, you can actually see, for some added detail, that there is also a trinket or slash charm which says the Firehawk on it as well, with a little pair of wings behind it, which is pretty damn neat. And then lastly for this collab, or at least I would think lastly for this collab, there is another weapon skin right here, which would appear to be the design of the Bandit LMGs, or you know, ARs from Borderlands 2, and that is what I think it is. If this is anything else, let me know in the comment section, but I'm pretty sure, like I'm 95% sure, this is the Bandit ARs from Borderlands 2. And now next, let's talk about the Borderlands 4 official art book, which has been announced. So this broke yesterday via GameRart, so shout out to them, and it mentioned that Borderlands 4 will be getting an official art book, which will be dropping on the 30th of September / 1st of October, and it will be made by Dark Horse Comics, who also did the other Borderlands comics. Of course, this isn't really a comic, it's more of a behind the scenes look at the development process, but it does say that Dark Horse Books will be behind it, and the author of the book is Rick Barber. Now, I am not up to date on comics and books, so you'll have to let me know what the deal is here, but it does say that this is going to retail for $55, which sounds extremely pricey. Now again, I am not an expert on comics, I don't know if that's typical pricing, but if you are a comic fan and you could maybe give us some insight in the comment section down below, please let me know. It does say that it is 224 pages and that you can pre-order it via Amazon, Barnes & Noble and local retailers on the 20th of May, and I believe that will be US only. I don't think you're going to be able to do that in the UK. They also mentioned that the book is going to offer a mixture of sketches, line art, concept artwork, and fully realized production assets, and it will will provide you an overview of how obviously the visual identity of BL4 has changed over development, and it will probably have concept art for characters that didn't make it in and much more. And so that's all that there is to mention on that front, and that's basically gonna do it for the breaking news today. I will talk about briefly Randy's tweet fiasco, but I didn't want to lump that into breaking news because Randy making dumb tweets is not breaking news. This is something he does very often, and we all wish he did not. I'm not going to show the tweet because honestly I would rather not go to Randy's Twitter any more than I have to, but basically he responded to a fan who mentioned that they don't want Borderlands 4 to be $80, and Randy responded by saying that if they were a true fan, they will make it happen. Now, my immediate reaction to this is Randy is once again putting his foot in his mouth. He is a feet finder expert and absolutely cannot help himself by tanking the PR of the games that he is tied to. Borderlands 4, of course, was going very well until he had to say something dumb. Now, I will say that I don't think Randy wants Borderlands 4 to be $80, and I don't think it's going to be $80 either. And the consensus that I've seen is kind of split. There are people who disagree with me on that and people who very much agree with me. But yeah, my POV on it is that it's not going to be $80. He doesn't want it to be $80, but he kind of just is an out-of-touch millionaire who, you know what I mean? He's just an out-of-touch millionaire who doesn't understand that there are people who are working 9 to 5s, just getting by paycheck to paycheck, and an $80 game is going to be a deal breaker for them. And unfortunately, due to Randy's mess up here, he has severely hindered the PR of Borderlands 4 and has probably made a lot of devs feel really bad and made a massive PR situation that now has to be fixed. And that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. I don't think there's really any way to look at this situation objectively other than this is bad for Borderlands, right? Now, I'm not going to make a dedicated video on this situation because I don't want a dogpile. I don't think there needs to be any more dogpiling than there already is. It was a dumb tweet and I hope that he will come out and apologize. In my mind, that's the best thing to do. Come out, apologize, and move on, and hope that people understand that you are a separate entity to Borderlands, because anytime Randy talks, I feel like he speaks for himself and not for the company, and I think a lot of people get hurt over what he says. I will tell you very bluntly that my thoughts on Randy Pitchford as the CEO of Gearbox, and I think I may have said this before in the past, that I view him as the Elon Musk of Gearbox. I think there are a lot of talented people who put in a lot of hard work, and I do think he is part of that hard work as well to a degree. But I absolutely think with the reach he has and his public reputation, the amount of times that he goes online, opens his mouth, and then gets them in a really bad situation, it's happened one too many times, and it happened on the launch to Borderlands 3 and did a lot of bad for the marketing of the game. And if it continues to happen like it is now with Borderlands 4, I would very much like to see Take-Two step in and remove him from his position. That is my non-biased thoughts on the situation as a fan of the franchise, trying to preserve the integrity of it. I don't think it is a good idea for its CEO to be out of touch personally, and actually not even personally, publicly on Twitter, tanking the reputation of a game that's not even out yet. It's not fair to the devs, it's not fair to the marketing team, it's not fair to the publisher, believe it or not, and it's not fair to anybody around Randy who even understands what he means, right? Because if there are people who understand what Randy means, then it means that he must understand what he means, and in that regard, he should be able to word what he's saying a little bit better. But life is life, we live and we learn, and Randy often does not, so we'll see what happens from there. And again, if the situation continues, we'll probably make a dedicated video talking about it. But that's going to do it for today's Borderlands Breaking News, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. The videos are going to slow down a little bit here, but I do want to let you know that I have a charity stream on Twitch coming up on the 29th of May, raising money to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. If you want to come by and raise some money, I would really appreciate it. For OGs of the channel, we are going to be killing the Agonizer 9000, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to come by and talk Borderlands 4, and you want to talk to me personally, please stop by and help us raise some money for kids with cancer. I think it would be a really cool thing to do, but I understand if you can't make it. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video, I really appreciate it. I'll check you all in the next one. Stay safe and have a nice day.